said, there was a version of the script where you guys came to the prison and you shot him right when he came back. There was a version.
That was a version of the script I never filmed.
No, but again, going back to, the stories are very organic and they change. And, originally, the episode 4, where Sarah dies, originally, Carol was going to die in that scene. I know, believe me. And she's a fantastic. So it just changed, and you can't get to that point.
Why did she not die?
The script changed, and it ended up being a situation where T-Dog ended up. We wanted to make sure that his death had meaning and value, so he dies closing the gate and saving the rest of the
How many people knew T-Dog was going to die?
You misunderstood the question. Wait, what did you say? How many people knew he was going to die?
How many people kind of had a feeling T-Dog was going to bite the dust? Okay, not too bad. So it was kept secret. Oh, because he got more lines. To give the black man more lines than kill him.
Conspiracy theory is that you guys have a one brother at a time rule on the show.
When they start writing for me, and I have more lines, I'm gonna get going like, wait, guys, I don't mean this. I really don't want to say this. Good. No.
You're going to read a scene that says, Merle smashes Henny into mirror. You're going to go, oh my God, holy shit, it's coming true.
Yeah, I've been doing that all season.
So, have you guys, you pitch the ideas to the producers, and it kind of goes that way, and that's before it all gets to you guys, right? That's before you guys are...
Yeah, I mean, the outlines are written, and then the scripts are written, and, when we did season 1, and even the beginning of season 2, Frank Darabont liked to release a lot of the scripts at one time so that the actors knew where we were going.
Yeah. And
it's an interesting thing, and I'd like to ask all you guys that question, because I work on Breaking Bad as well, and I remember I asked Brian,
what is it? Breaking
Bad.
Check that
one out. We would do table reads before every episode. Remember that?
We did earlier on, but some actors like not knowing, like Breaking Bad. Cranston doesn't know from episode to episode until he gets the script and they're prepping, which I found fascinating because he didn't want it to alter his performance down the road by knowing where his character was going. So for you guys, what do you feel about that?
Well, I just think it's really interesting because I hadn't seen any of The Walking Dead before I came on. I know, but I'm not a huge TV watcher, and I don't mean that in a funny way. It's not funny. But I caught up on the plane on the way to Georgia, and I watched all 6 episodes, and I literally was in plane seat jumping like this, while they were serving breakfast. Well, only dinner actually. They served 3 dinners.
They were serving yogurt and strawberry jam. But have you guys gotten the script and looked at it and kind of in a scene or in an episode kind of not been completely happy with where the characters go?
Never, we're always happy.
Always happy, right? You're like, yes, I love this 110%. So then what happens? You go, Andrea wouldn't do this. Then what happens?
That never happens.
This is happening, isn't it?
Let me start with the first question. I like getting scripts in advance, and there was a way of working last year where we did get scripts in advance, and it was very helpful for me because if I had gotten the scripts one at a time, I don't know if I would have had the courage to have gone for it as I did. What I mean is, I was very mean.
Someone hissing.
Gas, he was just passing on gas.
Somebody farted.
Was this 1930?
Hey, get that gams out of here.
What I mean is that, when Andrea was really messed up over her sister, and she felt like that Dale took her choice away, she was really hard on him. And if I had just gotten those scripts, it probably would have freaked me out because it was very uncomfortable. First of all, I love Jeff Damon. I love the character of Dale. And it was very, very hard actress to be mean to him. And only because I saw scripts in advance where we made up and there was redemption and I was going to honor him at the end. And now I feel like Dale's like on my shoulder, like Andrea's shoulder. He's like the guardian angel that, you know.
What did Jeffrey ever tell you about?
Like episode 9 that just aired, it's like Dale's always ringing in her head about humanity and you know, about people and you know the cost of life. And so it's good to have scripts in advance because sometimes it scares the crap out of you when your character has to do things that you find morally or reprehensible and uncomfortable, but you're like, oh, but wait a minute, down the road, this is all going to make sense, so I can really blow it out.
So you want to know how you're going to evolve or de-evolve in the...
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, because it's, you know, for instance, I know how the back gate's going to go. Everybody else knows how the back gate's going to go. But, you know, let's just say that for those of you that are not particularly thrilled with the fact that I hooked up with the governor, there will be redemption.
Getting scripts in advance or not, I would never read them anyway. I don't know, basically, the way I work is I deal with stuff that's in front of me right now, right here, today, in this moment. So I don't want to read anything else. All I want to read is what's there and what we're about to do. You know? And
so you want to react.
I don't give a shit about what's going to happen later.
Okay. You have to trust that that the writers have the vision at hand and have the whole story at hand, which is what they do. So
well, sometimes you get that sometimes, but
well, still,
it doesn't. I can do it either way. I can take it either way, but I won't read them.
I will not give you a script. All right.
See, I'll read them all in one night.
See, you'll read them all.
Oh, you will.
I won't read it. I won't.
You're still salty that you didn't get to kill Tito.
Actually, I think, unfortunately, T-Dog and I would have become quite good friends, I think.
Yeah, there's like no way.
No way that those two fictional characters would have stayed friends. So, but you guys, I imagine, you create some pretty good bonds with people, whether they remain on the show or not. So it's got to be strange, though, for people who aren't on the show anymore, because you're still kind of in contact with them, I imagine, as colleagues or whatever, friends.
Well, you know, it was interesting when we shot episode 8, where Shane shows up again for the vision. It was, I mean, you know, we all do stay in touch. I mean, I talked to Jeff DeMunn the other day, and when John came down, I mean, it's a family. You know, we've spent 3 years together. It's not like a movie where you do, you know, 12 weeks or 14 weeks and then you're gone. Every year we go back. And so it was exciting. I mean, after the first season, you came back for one episode in season 2, and then so it really is, it's not, you know, it's just great to have those characters show up again.
It's got to be like going to a different school almost. Like they're somewhere else. You're like, hey, how's it going over there?
Yeah.
What I do miss is the table reads. I never thought I'd ever say that in regards to table reads, but it was sort of like a quiet moment before the storm. It's like a moment where everybody gets together around the table, say hello and hi, what's up, and then start reading, and you know, it was interesting.
Well, because we prep for 8 days and then we shoot 8 days, so the directors and the assistant directors alternate. So while we're shooting one episode, they're prepping the next episode. So an opportunity to get everybody together to do it. There was one episode I directed where I actually had an opportunity to rehearse with the cast, which really doesn't happen very often because everybody's off shooting. You know, if they're shooting a scene in Woodbury and I need to rehearse a scene with Carl or Rick or something, then we can do that. So
you have to direct it you have to direct it differently than you would if it were a film. Because this is kind of like a well-oiled machine now where it's just rolling along. Or do you direct it like, you know, they're tiny films?
Hi.
Hello.
Greg will often be directing all the zombies and all of the B unit stuff on one episode and prepping for another episode right after that.
Okay.
And he's a complete touchstone for this whole thing. And it was, I don't know, how did it feel to you? Was it super exciting to direct the first episode with us, or was it?
The first episode I ever directed was Dale's death in season 2. And I never told anybody, but I was scared shitless. It was literally, I got the episode, and there was one zombie in it. And I thought, okay, so I better be a good zombie. And then I got to the end, and Dale dies. And I had dinner with Jeffrey, and he was delighted that it was in my hands. And he's such a great actor, he did such a great job. But it was all drama. And, you know, my background is special effects, makeup, and feature stuff. And I've directed a lot of second unit, but mostly creature effects stuff and gore stuff. So to have an opportunity to direct an episode like that, where it really was all about the emotion and all about what the group was going to do. And
was that something that you had ever aspired to, or did it kind of come organically where you thought, maybe I want to do that, where it's not involving gore and creature?
it just happened. You know, I mean, my company, KB Effects, we've been around for 25 years. And we've always been, you know, I've worked with everybody here on different movies and different projects at different times. Lauren and I did this together. So it's just been really, so it's just the timing just happened to work out that I got that opportunity. And then this season I've done a lot more, and it really is fascinating. I mean, what I love about what I do is I learn every day. Every day I go to work and I feel like it's a new experience, and that I've been doing this a long time and I'm still learning every day. And the fact that I get to work with these guys and they inspire me and they make me want to do better, it really is, it's really an amazing situation.
Do you guys ever feel like in your head you go, man, it may never get this good again?
What'd you say?
Like when you guys are working on the show, I mean, the show is such a huge hit, and you guys clearly have a great time making it. Is there ever kind of a fleeting thought in your head, you're like, man, it may never get this good again?
Yeah, I think that the situation we have on The Walking Dead is so unique. The family, and people, I think people use the word family a lot, but we've become so close, and I think you're constantly going through all this traumatic stuff together, and you're witness to people going through this all the time, and if it's not you, it's somebody else that's going through it, and it makes such an unbreakable bond. I mean, it's really kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if it exists to have more than one Walking Dead in your lifetime. I think we just are so blessed to have this. And we all, you know, it's a zombie show, and the sad reality is that each and every one of us is going to die at some point. It's kind of like whenever your number's up, and I mean that's the hardest part is saying goodbye to your friends. And you know, you were talking about you know, do you cry, like even when you're you know, I mean it's different for different circumstances, but I have to say that most of the times that I've been required to feel on the show, I've just shown up because oh, I love you! Where are you? You know, but like when Dale died, I mean, with so many people, we literally just showed up and saw it because we didn't want Dale to go, we didn't want Jeff to Munt to go. So it's like, it's I mean,
It's sad. You know what? Whenever you're on set and something's going down, you can rehearse it all you want, but you never know how it's really gonna roll out of your mouth. I never know how I'm going to say something. Sometimes, many times I don't even know what I said during the last take.
Well, and you guys can naturally react because you don't know what he's going to say.
Rooker is the most unpredictable person in our
Nobody
house.
knows what I'm going to say.
Every
I
city
think
is a wild
you know what
card.
you're gonna say.
Nobody knows what I'm going to say or do. I like it that way. You guys, because
See, but what if you need like a cue from
I don't need a cue.
Lori does.
What if there's a cue? I'll hear the cue when it happens.
What about me?
Yeah, that's it. You want the cue? If you feel like saying it, say it. Interrupt me. Do it. You know?
I have to tell a funny story too because Lori was not
Sure,
that.
tits. Didn't say that. I'm sorry.
Yes, you do. It's not about you for once.
That's one of those cues that she was talking about.
Cues, shut up.
I love you, Maggie!
But Lori was telling me, because Lori obviously had a really traumatic episode when she was saying goodbye to her sister, and I had asked her, what did you kind of do, and how did you prepare for all this? And she said, it's really funny, I wanted to do all this work on my own, and I had been to the Georgia Aquarium, and they had these really, really cute little beluga whales, stuffed ones, and she found one of those, and it felt like, it was sweet.
It reminded me
to
of
her.
you. Yeah.
So she worked on, so she's telling me the story, but she's telling me the story where we're both parked in the parking lot of our condos that we live in, and she finds this beluga whale in the trunk, and she goes, Lauren, this is the whale! And I'm like, oh my god, she goes, and it was, oh baby. And then we were all
In the middle of a parking lot, and this slowing
there's
people.
like 5 people standing behind us. Like,
It all
these
never
Irish chicks
shows.
from The Walking Dead singing to a beluga whale.
Crying with my dead sister that's a
Oh, my
beluga
goodness.
whale.
Are they the best? I've never seen myself as an actor. I've always, I try my best not to act. My job is not to act on the show or any other show. And, yeah,
Have you ever tried talking
I find
to-
it really beautiful that you can transfer your sister's death.
Well, the show's all about reanimation.
We're also kind of goofy.
I would eat balloon.
That's why you play Mo.
So we should do questions.
Yeah, let's do some audience Q&A. There are a couple of microphones up here on the stage.
There are microphones, and we can't see you guys, so this will be a little tricky, but if you see there are microphones here that they're going to bring up.
Whoever,
There you go. Hey.
there we go. Whoever wants to be the,
Come on, get some questions down here, y'all.
I thought there was only 500.
Oh, by the way, so Norman Reedus was supposed to be here tonight, apologizes. And so what I told him was, he owes each and every one of you a drink when he's in Cleveland. Everybody leave your email address and then I'll just have you.
all right.
So who's got questions?
Here we go. Should I go first? Yeah, go ahead. Hi. First of all, thank you for doing this. We love you so much. I want to talk about characters for a second and how you handle it. Like, for example, Maggie, we love you. And Earl, we're terrified of you. We don't,
Next question.
we're also. So I guess I want to ask Lori Holden this question. The beginning of the series, we loved you. We cried with you when you had to see your sister die. We hated you when you slept with Shane. Really. We loved you again with your.
What's your
with your
question,
film.
buddy? Come on.
And now you're banging the governor. How do you deal with? I mean, obviously these two are their characters are stable. We know what's going to come with them, but we don't know what's coming with you. How do you deal with a changing character
every week that you're doing a new script? Do you ever just like want to punch yourself in the face?
No, I don't want to punch myself in the face.
Your character.
No, I mean, here's the deal. First of all, I don't write for the show. So, I mean, sometimes there have been things that have been written that, you don't necessarily agree with, but it's your job. So you just do the best that you can to tell the best story. The truth of the matter is, and I've always defended Andrea because I know her heart, and I also know the back eight, but she fell for the wrong guy. She didn't know that he was a psycho, crazy douchebag. First of all, she didn't abandon Michonne. She wanted to stay, Mish wanted to leave, and they were both two women that were like, God, this sucks. It was a breakup. There was no abandonment. And I didn't choose him over her. And I know that everyone's so beyond frustrated and angry because Andrea's a strong woman, and it's like, why is she with this loser? But she's waking up here. She doesn't watch The Walking Dead. She doesn't have all the information that you guys do. And let me just say, when she does, she's going to get off her tush and she's going to make things happen. So don't give up on her.
How about on this side?
Hi.
Hello.
I just have a quick question. The first thing I want to say is, Laura, your scene at the end of season 2 where you were just icing through all those walkers was totally awesome from a female perspective. My question is that in the first season, Rick was talking a lot to, I think it was Morgan and his son Dwayne. We've had closure pretty much with every character that's been introduced on The Walking Dead, except with those two. Do you think that we'll ever find out what happened to Morgan and Dwayne?
Well, listen, the beauty of the show is that we do sometimes pop around, and the fact that Shane showed up in episode 8 for a quick shot, I don't think anything's off the table. It's a world that we love, and the way I always describe the show is we're kind of on a freeway, and every once in a while we'll get off, we'll explore a neighborhood, and then we'll get back on the freeway and go back in with the graphic novel. So I think it's pretty much fair game that we could see characters that we've seen in past episodes.
Or maybe not.
Or not. I mean, it's just the way that the show has been developed, and I was talking to Kirkman the other day about it. We were talking about the source material. We're up to we're up to issue 106 or 107 of the comic book. That's we've gone about a third of the way through that material for the TV show. So if you really think about it, we had a lot more story to tell ahead of us for the show.
Good question.
Ladies, you look amazing. It's so nice to see you cleaned up. Michael, I have a question for you. You, sir.
Yeah, what do you want?
First off, when I'm done asking my question, can we break a rule and will you take a picture with me?
No. I never break rules.
How do you, when you have to be such an asshole, especially to the episode where you were so awful to Maggie and Glenn, do you remove yourself from your friends that day and say, all right, guys, I gotta be dickweed today? How do you do that? What do you do?
It was on the call sheet that day.
I don't necessarily have to do anything. As you know, I think I've stated that I like playing things. Oh, I have to kill him now. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. Easy to do. Okay. Although I gotta tell you, I did have a problem with putting the zombie in the room.
Yeah.
Remember, I debated, I lost the debate. But I always thought it would have been really cool that when I put the zombie in on him, and he started going in at Glenn and trying to bite him, and in the process of biting him, Glenn gets bitten, but then you realize it was one of the zombies that I had pulled the teeth out of earlier in the previous episode. So it would have been a really kind of sick joke that Bro would have played on.
I wanted to
It didn't fly though. They really wanted it to feel danger, and they really wanted to see the teeth. But no, you know what? I don't. I've only done that once in my career. That was during Mississippi burning, when Alan Barker came up to me and said, "Rooker, I got a problem." He said, "I'm thinking I'm going to get fired." And he says, "I think you're being way too nice to the boys." I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, you're swimming. You got your 6-year-old in the pool, and you guys are all having a fun time. And you know what we got to do tomorrow night, don't you? Or not tomorrow night, next week." And I go, yeah, that's right. No problem. I got it settled. I got it. Not a problem." So from that moment on, I decided to basically not acknowledge their existence. So I went through the day, we shot other scenes, and they would say, "Hey, Rooker," whoa, and I just walked by. I wouldn't say anything. And so a week goes by, and the very first words, of course, I say to these poor kids in that car was, I don't know if I should say this, very politically incorrect, right? Oh my God. No, it's really it was a horrific scene. We're in the Everglades. It's horrible, and you're hearing the alligators eat and flop around in the mud. And I pull these guys over, and the first words you hear from my mouth is, I lean into the window and I sniff them. And I say exactly these words. "Now you even starting to smell like a nigga, you boy." And then I spit on him. And then I blow his head off. That was scary. That poor guy, as soon as I said that, I could see the fear in his eyes. And when he said his retort, "It's okay, we're gonna be okay," let me tell you, I believed him. He was scared.
Okay, I don't really have anything